A very good morning to each and every one of you, and welcome to our broadcast this morning. FYI, it's the 11th day of September, and we're happy that you guys can be here with us. On one weekend, we've had folks, weekend of accidents and fires, and then you have that press conference that occurred over the weekend. President Irfan Ali had a press conference, kind of preempting the release of the mid-year financial report of his administration, and that was a bit both fire and accident put together in that presentation right there with yeah, we're going to be touching on some of that this morning. But good to have each and every one of you with us, folks, wherever you're joining us from this morning. It's good to have Isabella Butters on with us this morning. And Debbie Collins is here as well. And Ras Ricardo, we've missed you at this end, sir. Rihanna Mingo is here too. And we got Seymour George, Yvonne Ramasar Bellamone is here too. Fidel Innes, of course. All the usual suspect. Jilly G is here too. Seymour Williams. Good to see you. June Griffith and Debbie Collins are just some of the folks joining us very early on YouTube. Good to have you folks here with us. The sunlight race is a little slower here now in the morning. We come down to here, and folks, and it's getting dark a little faster than it usually does. You know, 8 o'clock is still bright outside. Not so these days. There's Isaac Scribs, Andy. Good to see you at that end as well. And Kishan Sharma, we see you guys there. And I see Rosie Roche Jaff is there too. And Tommy Gibbs and a lot of other folks joining us this morning. Macnell Barrow, not to be left. I hope you guys have had a fantastic weekend. As we told you, it was a working weekend at our end. Trying to make sense of some of what Irfan Ali was saying and all the other things happening in the 592, folks. Just trying to make some sense of all of that. First, Fordyce is here with us. Orindon Cook is here too. And Simone Greaves is here. And Beatrice Selby. Beatrice, how you doing? Good to have you at that end, Beatrice. And Yolanda Thomas is here, and Yolanda is giving her own shout outs. Good to have Deborah Pearson and all the other folks joining us. Folks, this weekend is our Georgia weekend, and we're looking forward to seeing you there in Conyers, Georgia. You know, this graphic that we have is giving us some trouble this morning, but we're looking forward. We're going to put that up. We're going to put it out on our social media page. The location we're meeting in Conyers, Georgia on Saturday. Looking forward to seeing some of you. You know, we were talking with some of the folks who are going to be attending, and they tell us some folks are flying in from Washington, you know, for that little meet and greet. For that meet and greet in Georgia, folks are flying in to meet us in Georgia, and we hope to see you guys. We got some folks coming in at our end. Good morning. Guys, good to have you. Put up a cup of something with us and share. Looking forward to that meeting in Georgia. We're all that, people taking flights and so on to come see us. But we're looking forward to meeting you guys there in Georgia, in Conyers, Georgia. And we can put up that location on our Facebook profiles and pages and all the other places that we broadcast from. Anthony Jarvis, good to see you there. Andrew Griffith, Evelina Whitaker, good to see you there. Andrew, a very good morning to you. Happy Monday, Andrew, and thanks for all that you do for our program here. Yvette Juna is there too, Annette Cummins. I see Anthony Jarvis is here as well. Guys, we really trust that you had a fantastic weekend and your weekend's off to a great start. You hit the ground running. It's Monday, 5 days to the next weekend. We had a very good weekend, and if we can do this morning, we'll show you some of that. Maybe tomorrow morning. We had a fantastic weekend. Patricia Asana, June Cameron, I see Yvette Wilford is there, Dolly Anderson too. Beverly Booker is here with us. June Ann Bauman, Pauline Chalmers. Good to have all you folks on the live this morning. Those of you who are joining us on the tube, good to have you, fantastic folks as well. Share the live, smash that emoji button, folks. Wherever you're joining us from, give us a sec. We gotta post some other places as well, guys. But good to have all of you here, and we encourage you folks to do the same as well. Share the live, smash that emoji button, and let's take this journey together. We got another 45 minutes or so with you folks. We want to share a couple of things with you guys from the many places you're joining us from. I see we got Stephen Austin here with us. We got Erwin John Cook is here with us as well. Emily Durant is here with us too. Tabitha Sarabu Hali. Tabitha, we'd rather have you at this end than the other end, but we know you have a busy morning. It's back to school for you, the kids, your husband, and everybody else. Alex Boone, good to have you here as well. We're missing you around these parts. Tabitha. We're missing you around these parts. We got Brenda Moore with us and Merlin here too, and Forbes and Agre Marsh. Agre's a long time, my brother. Been too long. How are you doing? No doubt making your millions quietly as usual, right? Quietly as usual. See you soon. 64 Lodge housing scheme. Making his millions, folks. Agree, how you doing? Or John Cook. I hope nobody turns up on 64 Lodge housing scheme. He doesn't live there, folks. I was just teasing. Yep, before a lot of y'all be down there saying, Agree, know you from long. He's a old cousin. Janet Innes, good to have you there. Naomi Jock is here too. Good morning, Naomi. How are you doing? And you are in Region 11, Naomi. How are you doing in Region 11 there? Good to have all you folks on the live this morning. I think we've shared to all the places we want to share to. Edward Brooms is here, and I see Dolly Anderson is here too. As I said, Penelope Hudson, Debbie Collins, I see you there. Lachman Aziz, we see you there as well. And Siobhan McDonald, Edward Brooms, Donald Joseph. It's not going to be the same morning without having Tabitha, across the table virtually. But good to have Tabitha probably joining on one of our errands this morning. Mayborn King is here too. Good to have you, Mayborn, and Wendell Soul. We have Edward and Jason Benjamin is here. Jason, how are you doing, El Presidente? Good to have you, Jason. Jason also in Region 11 today, joining us from somewhere there in the world, folks. Let me have another look, see if we are ready on the graphic front. As we here, let me give a shout out, folks, to one of the folks who make it possible at this end, and that's the Alistair Collins firm. As you know by now, know by heart, if you're looking for a good justice of the peace, commissioner of votes, property, they will gotta recommend this firm to you. They're right down there at the Italian Mall on Lamahashi between Camp and Waterloo Street, 649-6410. All your documentation is professional team of people. 685-6448. And they're gonna give you guys the fixer upper. They're right down there at the Italian Mall. It's closer to Waterloo Street than it is to Camp Street, but it's right on there on Lamaha Street at the Italian Mall. You go in there on the ground floor and you ask for the Alistair Collins firm. Folks are going to point you in the right direction. And we want to recommend them highly to you folks as you start the week. You are looking for justice of the peace, a commissioner of votes, affidavits, so for all documentation needs. Yep, we recommend them highly, good folks. We want to recommend them highly. That's what's happening on that front, good folks. That's what's happening on that front. Good to have you guys with us again, wherever you're joining us from. Rock and come in, pull up a cup of something with us, pull up a chair with us. We got a couple of things we want to share with you wonderful folks this morning, and then we are out of your hairs. Good to see all of you who have joined us from all of those fantastic places around the world. Good to see all of you on the live. You always say it like that, and we have adopted it. On the live. We're on the live. Good to see you, fantastic, brilliant folks. Again, wherever you all are joining us from this morning. Hope you guys have had a great weekend. Waiting for that graphic to load. Holding for it to load, good folks. Where we all joining we from? We are super, super happy that you all are here with us. And we got a couple of things we want to share with you guys. Right off the bat, happening in the morning papers this morning. And for those of you who are now joining us, welcome. I see Marlon Trim is here with us. Quite a few things we want to touch on in the morning papers today. We think ought to be of interest to you fantastic folks. Desiree Emmanuel is here with us too. And we got Yolanda. Yolanda says, rock and come in. Beatrice, as I said. Donna Newkirk is here too. Donna, good to see you and welcome. I see we got Deborah Pearson, and of course, lovely folks like Beatrice always here with us. Deborah, welcome too. And Alex and all the other folks now joining us. Share that live, smash that emoji button for us. We're going to touch on some of the things we're covering this morning. One of the things we're looking at is a letter to the editor. Because, you got a lot of folks every day who write to the editor. And some of those letters are pretty interesting. We want to share some of that with you. One in particular is asking about these electoral fraud cases. And, Shamshun Mohammed is one of those names we see often. Very prolific letter writer. And I think he's famed for very short letters. Just that kind of guy. Very, very short letters to the editor. And here he says, we were promised an update by the lead prosecutor in the electoral fraud cases. Since then, Shamshun says, nothing. Right? Is it to be assumed the prosecutor is still overseas, as was said initially? You know, periodically, Anil Nandilal comes up. All right. Periodically, Anil Nandilal comes out and he has this diatribe about the justice system not working and the prosecutors being slow and all of that, you know. And here is Shamshun Mohammed asking this morning if this particular prosecutor in these cases is still overseas. It's an important question that needs to be answered. Perhaps the Attorney General is the best person to answer that. You know, they've been pursuing these numerous fraud cases, hauling a lot of folks before the courts. And I'm trying to find my way in my notes because I want to give you guys valid and credible information. Yeah. Hauling a lot of folks before the courts. And Shamshun is asking this morning, what's happening with those cases? He goes on to say there were some telling points on this issue by the columnist in one of the Independent Daily. Right? He highlights Kaicho News, a very telling point. Right? This is turning out indeed to be a great travesty to the people. And I can understand Shamshun's frustration. Now, I don't know necessarily his political orientation, and I don't necessarily care. But if you say that you've had all of these electoral fraud cases, you know, we saw Irfan in a press conference early Saturday morning. He just rolled out of bed, you know, came out with his pajamas on. You heard all these fraud cases. 3 years in, you don't have one conviction, right? You're now giving people the right to say these are trumped up bogus. We knew that from the start. And I say that to juxtapose to some of what's happening here in the US of A. Of course, lots of you are familiar with that insurrection, as the pundits call it, January 6th, 2021. Am I right? It's 2021, right? 2021, January 6th. Now, since that time, a number of persons have been brought before the courts. You got this organization called the Proud Boys, who seem to have taken the lead on that front. Now, from the Proud Boys organization, Joseph Biggs got 17 years for his part in that insurrection there and trying to overturn the results of the elections here in the US of A. They don't say general elections, but the elections here, the presidential elections here in the US of A. Joseph Biggs, for his part, 17 years. Zachary Ryle, 15 years. Dominic Pazzola got 10 years. Ethan Nordine got 18 years. Enrique Tario got 22 years. I think he's the chairman of this organization. And you had another fella over the weekend, you know, late last week, also a sentence. I'm just juxtaposing the two situations. Anil Nandilal professes to be a bright guy. They said they had all of these evidence, truckloads of evidence. And folks, 3 years in, not one conviction. So I understand the frustration with people like Shamshun Mohammed and this letter to the editor in this morning's paper, because as Irfan Ali even spoke about as recent as Saturday morning, when he came out of his bed with his pajamas on for that press conference, he went back to the 2020 general regional elections and these allegations of rigging and these riggers. And 3 years later, he supposedly got all this evidence of rigging and all that. Not one conviction. Not one. Not one. And you all know the DPP don't play. To hate on the parliamentary opposition and the opposition supporters, period. You all know she don't play. 3 years in, they still a whole truckload of evidence at some magistrate's court full of evidence. 3 years in. What's happening here? Loretta Argyle, Orwin Dunn, Dolly Anderson. Try to look at it dispassionately. In the US of A, You've had now more than 6, 7, 8, 9 convictions, and you also a series of indictments. Well, we even talking about the indictments. We're not even talking about those because the late great Forrest Burnham used to say, right? A charge is not a proven offense. So we ain't counting charges, we counting convictions. Several convictions. Look at the years. The highest amount of years was given to Enrique Tarrio, 22 years for his part. We can't even get one conviction in Georgetown. And every day, shame on them, coming out talking about who rigged and who attempt to rig and all of that. The man even talked over the weekend about the award for democracy, right? No convictions, but people fight and restore democracy, the usual rhetoric, folks. I want to give you guys a sense of some of what he said over the weekend. In this press conference where he roll out of bed, he swam out, he flick out or something like that in his pajamas, and he came and had this press conference. Of course, the occasion for the press conference was the mid-year financial report, and preempting that. Now, wouldn't it have been wise and thoughtful to give the reporters, give the journalists the report, have them peruse it, so that when they come to a press conference of this nature, they can ask informed questions. No, they're trying to get ahead of the onslaught, trying to get ahead of the poor performance of the economy. He even given oil and gas. He left all of this money for them. You left the framework for them to reap this windfall, and still, economy in tatters, people suffering. So listen to what Irfan Ali said on Saturday morning as he rolled out of bed in his pajamas about democracy and democracy and democracy. Take a look, folks. Take a listen.
On the issue of democracy, as I said earlier, we have been able to strengthen our democracy, our democratic creed, if you want to put it that way, and restoring power to the people. And I see some voices on the matter of democracy that were voiceless when democracy was under threat, that exhibit complete lack of spine when the branches of democracy were being tenderized to be broken. Suddenly, the voices in the wilderness, some, has been reawakened. And guess what? I'm happy. Because that is when you know democracy is alive and well. When those voices are no longer afraid to come out of its wilderness and find a place in a free, open, and democratic society without fear, then you're happy.
Then you're happy. So you listen to all of that, he's hard against those who now speaking up, according to him, now speaking up, now finding their voices, the spineless set, who didn't speak out to this very, according to them, this very egregious point in our history, right? This egregious point in history when democracy was, attempted to be stolen, and they had to wage this war and all of that. 3 years in, we can't get one conviction in the court system. There should be a shame, either way, to come out and talk about riggers. If people try to rig an election, produce the evidence, put it before a court. Now, they come out ever so often. So that is one side. He's abusing the folks who, the spineless set, who now talking up against their infractions. And then they come out and they abuse the magistrate or the court system failing us, and they don't know what the court doing. That, folks, the courts don't work miracles. You have to have something to go on. And if there's nothing there, If there is nothing there. Now, Shamshun asking this morning, is the prosecutor still overseas? I prosecuted the matter. Don't come around be funny. Is the prosecution still overseas? That is what letter writer citizen Shamshun Mohammed asking. And President Ali over the weekend busing out. Yolanda Thomas, what do you guys make of that? Rika Lewis, Elizabeth Narayan, what do you make of that? Faith Joseph, what do you all make of that? Bella Bona, you all hear words now. This is early Saturday morning. You're in the weekend. You know, how did everyone sleep last evening? You know, he said democracy being broken and tenderized. You know, the voices in the wilderness, the spineless, woke up vexed. Woke up vexed. And, you know, we have been saying here, the man has promised this award of democracy for so long, 3 years in now. He said it now finalizing it. He spoke about that too. He spoke about that. He said the award for democracy will be unveiled, will be launched, will be bestowed quite soon. Quite soon, this award is going to be launched. I don't know if they were waiting for Sarah to go because they really can't give Sarah an award as an American ambassador. That's going to look too thin and questions are going to be asked. So I don't know if they were waiting for Sarah to leave or what's happening here. But he spoke about that award for democracy in that press conference on Saturday morning. He come to discuss the mid-year financial report, you know, for the country. This has nothing to do with economics, but he wades into this democracy and the spineless and all manner of things. And you also spoke about the award for democracy. Take a listen.
Our credentials on democracy cannot be questioned because we have always been on the right side of democracy. And I owe it to have the custodians of democracy and those who fought for democracy have that award. On October the 5th, the Democracy Award will be announced and unveiled in Guyana on October the 5th. The awards would have come, should have come earlier this year, but we are currently in the production, the design and production. Design is completed, the production of those awards. The necessary gazetting to have this award listed as part of our national collection of awards will be done. And on October the 5th, in honor of those who stood up with spine, with character, with dignity, their country shall stand them up tall in the eyes of the world and society.
You know, politics aside, folks. Politics aside, you gotta like Irfan Ali. Irfan Ali is a content creator's dream. You know, the theatrics, the drama, the bad grammar, you know, we have to stand them up tall. You know, you gotta love him. He's a gift that keeps on giving. Some of y'all become president tomorrow. Some of y'all become president tomorrow. You're be so boring, you know. If it's an exciting character, you can't go around with him. He can give you something to work with. There's always something extra that Irfan is going to bring to the table there. You know, and he does it every time. You know, they have some memes. Nobody, colon, and then you got Irfan. You know, we owe it to the people. Award for democracy. Nobody challenging them. They're duly elected according to them. On valid votes. And Irfan come out 3 years and he's still fighting this battle, you know. Right? We forget those who fought with us. Coming soon. Everything they come out with is coming soon. It's always something down the road. It's never we have done. We have accomplished. Coming soon. October 5th. Why so long? 3 years in. He asked us, we're another month. October 5th. Coming soon. Award for the... Nobody asked here for the question. All of this is his press conference to deal with the mid-year financial economic report for the country. He could spend his time talking how well the PVP has done. He can spend all this time on that, you know. All this time he can spend on that. Nobody asked him about elections. Nobody asked him but award for democracy. But this is the preface of him talking about how well the economy has done. Nobody challenged him on those issues, you know. He just rolled out of bed Saturday morning, wearing this third eye, this big eye. I don't know if that's the thing to mesmerize, hypnotize, you know. What you over here on your that third eye there, watching you strong on a Saturday morning to talk about how the economy is done. But he starts with election 2020. You know, you're gonna lead me overboard off the cliff if y'all keep looking back like that, you know. But look back with purpose. That's the point I want to make. When I talk about all of those in the US survey, just a couple months after our elections, no, it wasn't a couple months. We were August. They were the when? They were the November of the same year. The insurrection happened the following January. And you have more than 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 convictions. I ain't talking about charges. The charges have been multitudinous. But a charge is not a proven offense, according to a senior counsel lawyer, Forbes Burnham. So we ain't even touching that. But conviction, 3 years in. And how bright and Nandilal bright? We can't get no convictions. And we got some things to talk with Nandilal. Right? The real Nandalals of GT, we got some things to talk about Nandalal as well. We got some things to talk about them. So 3 years in, we can't get one conviction, just one, in that whole court saga. Father Lawrence before the court. You got what's your name? Smith from Region 5, Carol Smith, Joseph from Region 5 before the courts. A whole host of other people, Enrique, Levan, Mingo, Bingo, whoever else, before, not one conviction. Yet, all of these various charges. People must look at y'all like, what y'all talking about? What y'all talking about? I haven't heard Biden, every time they take the lectern, Biden should be puffing his chest at every press conference and say, you see, y'all see, we catch Joseph Biggs. You see, every press conference. You see what happened to Zachary Real? You see what happened to Dominic Pazzola? You see what happened to Ethan Mordin and Enrique Tario? You see what happened to them? We will award our award for democracy. Biden should be operating that way. But Biden understands he was duly elected and he has a country to lead and a country to develop. So y'all don't come wrong Biden funny. So that is some of what we saw, folks. All of this press conference over the weekend by Irfan Ali. As I said, the press conference was there to talk about the financial mid-year report. And we can dig down in this. I want to pick some people's brain on this. I got to talk with what's his name on this? Mr. Lowe, Elson Lowe. We got to talk with, if we can pick the brain of former finance minister. I'd love to hear what he says about this mid-year report. Winston Jordan, the Honorable Winston Jordan, former finance minister. Winston making them look like Joe Cote every day. Got to talk to him about that too. And, you know, it's quite some other folks I want to pick their brain on their sense of what their finance, their analysis of the financial mid-year report. I'd love to pick their brain on that. But during the course of that press conference, Irfan Ali also spoke about some of the actual things that he should be talking about in this financial mid-year report. He talked about the sugar industry. Why not let's touch on that? Because it's quite amazing. Again, they promised justice for the rigged elections and all that, not one conviction. They promised they're going to reopen the sugar estates that were closed by APNU, AFC. They closed quite a few in their time as well. Who closed a Diamond Sugar Estate? Where's me close and put the cane fields there towards Housing? Who closed that? They closed quite a few because we understood, folks, if we want to be honest, sugar as produced in Guyana lost its preferential market a long time ago. You can't be producing sugar at $1 and selling at 13 cents. It's a charity you're running. It's a sugar charity. Could we be honest about that? Could we be honest about that? Yes, there was one time we were the bastions of sugar production. At one time, historically, we used to produce, we were the foremost producer of cotton in the world. We understand that, right? But times have changed. We don't hold that prestige in those commodities any longer on the world market. We understand that. We understand that. So no sugar estate as promised, reopened to date. Again, you get coming soon. They said mid-September, late September, they opening back, Rose Holler, someplace like that. Coming is always coming soon. 3 years in, not one sugar estate has been reopened. But here, Irfan, on the sugar industry.
I don't have to remind you what was the state of sugar between 2015 and 2020. I don't have to remind you as to who closed the industry down. The sugar industry grew by 30.1%. And as you know, we are fully committed to the sugar industry, the revival of this industry, and the integration of this industry in the local economies in the regions of our country.
The sugar industry grew by 30.1%. Now that's miraculous. With no sugar estate reopened that was closed, either by them or Apnu AFC, right size. None. 30.1% the sugar industry grew by. You have to have had some astronomical sugar production. Astronomical sugar production. But here what these boys do. These boys, let's say IFLOT sugar estate, they revise the sugar production target but 4 times. If it was supposed to be 40,000 tons, they bring it down to 30, then 20. Then when they see they can make 20, they make 10. And then 5. And then he come out when they surpass 5% and said 30% growth. when they lowered the targets 10%, they're looking at in 1 cent. You know, we can take 10,000 tons from IFLOT. We can take 20,000, all revised downwards, bigly. Revised downwards, bigly. And then he run out here. You know, like all is well and growing. If all is well and growing, if you produce 30% increase in the sugar industry, how come sugar workers are only striking? Should be nice time in the industry. The maths are mathsing. That's what I want to tell you all. The maths, folks, just is not mathsing at all. And as we're talking about the sugar workers out there protesting, why are they protesting? They're protesting because economically their pockets hurting. They're working every day hard, but they're not seeing what the labor is benefiting them. They're not seeing that. And that is for a wide array of Guyanese. Guyanese are hurting terribly financially, cost of living. They even admitted that the cost of living is very high. But listen to Irfan on real GDP and non-oil GDP. Non-oil means everything that's not in the oil and gas sector. Livestock, fisheries, this, the third, and next. Listen to them both about how nice the economy doing. So y'all are really hurting. Take a look.
We are a country pursuing a balanced, holistic, diversified portfolio that will see sustainability and resilience of our economy, our country, and our people. And that is the context through which the investment in Guyana and the different sector is taking place. And as a result of this wide approach, this holistic approach, in the first half of 2023, real GDP grew by an estimated 59.5%. But important to note is that the non-oil economy grew by 12.3% in the first half of this year. And this is as a direct result of the policy matrix of the government and the country, investing, reigniting the traditional sectors, and expanding our economic footing.
Yeah, there you have it, folks. There, I told y'all, Irfan is a gift. that keeps on giving, and you can tell when he learns some new words. I like the twist of hands, the policy matrix. That's what is responsible for this 59 point something percent growth in the oil and gas, in the real GDP. That's oil and gas, You think they came and invent oil and gas and put it out there, 59.1 or 59.5, and then non-oil GDP grew by 12 point something percent. It is a result of the policy matrix. You got to give it to Irfan for theatrics. And the award goes to, that is what they have to have, a theatrical award. Awards for democracy. And he getting all top honors. The policy matrix. You all saw the twist of the hand, like he's a fast bowler. The policy matrix. That is responsible. Yeah, but we're not feeling that. The average Guyanese not feeling 59% real GDP. The average Guyanese not feeling 12% growth in the non-oil sector. They're not feeling that. They're not feeling it. And that is why I'm very interested to hear Elson Lowe and Winston Jordan and all the other folks. Raul Lucas. I would love to hear from Raul Lucas on this mid-year financial report. I'm waiting to hear from, as well, Raman McCrae on this mid-year financial report. I want to hear some other folks on it. You see, I want to give you all a broad sweep of opinions on this financial report for mid-year of the PPP's tenure. And I know nobody coming to boast the way Irfan out here boasting. That 59 point something percent of real GDP, that 12 something percent of non-oil GDP must mean something in the pockets of Guyanese. Like I'm the only person here. Deborah Pearson, Beatrice Selby, June Cameron, Kyle Bino, those of you in the diaspora, ask your friends and family in Guyana how things economically. How things economically for you. If you're a PPP supporter, ask your family and friends in Guyana. And if you're living in Guyana, you know what are those prices in the market doing. Are you flipping some backflips over that 59 point something percent real GDP? Huh? You going to throw a party for 12 point something GDP non-oil growth in the economy? I don't think so, because you would know, right? There's nothing irregular where those figures are concerned. Nothing irregular. And as the opening bowling at this press conference due to a close, Irfan talked about contemplating. He said they're raising it, the daily minimum wage. He said we're contemplating it. Listen to the way he announces it in a very kerfuffle way. He wants to announce we're contemplating, because things tough, raising the daily minimum wage according to him. So hear him on that issue of raising the daily minimum wage.
We would recall that we went to the electorate in 2020 with a program described as a manifesto. And the electorate would have elected their government of choice based on that program. As I speak to you today, we are now exceeding the commitment we made in that manifesto. On the economy, I am currently re-evaluating our revenues, projected revenues, the economy based on its strength, to analyze whether and when, not whether and when, because we have the capacity, and further adjustment in the daily minimum wage. So this is something that I am presently reviewing with an aim at a further adjustment in the daily minimum wage. Also reviewing the absorptive capacity at further advancing liquidity in your pocket.
Folks, who speak like that? Who speaks like that to the ordinary Guyanese? Like, I want to ring a bell right now. Who speaks like that? Lachman. He has something to hide when you're going around all of those. Nobody getting no increase. Nobody getting no increase. Who speaks like that to ordinary Guyanese citizen. If you got something to announce, Naomi Drucker, you're going to announce it. You ain't going to talk about, oh, you're looking to see if you could advance the absorptive capacity, so people can have liquidity in the pockets. Like, what the hell is that? Look at high flood graduate written all over it. Like, what's the, right? He wants to say we can raise the minimum, raise the minimum wage. He wants to see if we could advance looking at the absorptive capacity to advance the the liquidity. Don't wet me pockets here, fun. Don't wet me pockets. Don't think you come and wet me pants. Your absorptive capacity of the liquidity in your pockets. What madness is this here now? I tell you, folks, Irfan is a content creator's dream. Like me. I like Irfan. Me give you a cut and put it away. I like Irfan. You see? Granger, Harmon, Norton, what do you call it? Roysdale, Manza, they'll get straight to the point. We raise the minimum wage. Yeah. 8% across the board. Not Irfan. Irfan will come out here extra. We are reviewing, and then he starts talking to himself. I read me review. I mean, he starts talking to himself and answering back, right? The absorptive capacity, advancing the liquidity in your pocket. You often meet people like Irfan Ali. That's why I love him, right? Whatever new word he learned, he can come and use. He can care where, when, why, how, if to put him in whatever contextualization order. I pull it out for Irfan Ali on the all this morning. He ain't concerned about the contextualization. You see, he ain't come and use them words. You better believe it. He come and use them words. Absorptive, liquidity. He concerned. Folks, I want you to hear that again. The man said they're contemplating raising the minimum wage. That's all he wants to say. We contemplate. We're not raising it. We're contemplating raising it.
We would recall that we went to the electorate in 2020 with a program described as a manifesto. And the electorate would have elected their government of choice based on that program. As I speak to you today, we are now exceeding the commitment we made in that manifesto. On the economy, I am currently re-evaluating our revenues, projected revenues, the economy based on its strength to analyze whether and when, not whether and when, because we have the capacity, and further adjustment in the daily minimum wage. So this is something that I am presently reviewing with an aim at a further adjustment in the daily minimum wage. Also reviewing the absorptive capacity at further advancing liquidity in your pocket.
Yeah, we're going to advance. We are going to advance some liquidity in your pockets, good folks. We're going to advance that. Whatever you think that means. Whatever you think that means, it means. You see? It's up to interpretation. It is up to interpretation. I know Diane Abrams know what I mean. Sheila Boy Child says presidents are quoting here. Jason Benjamin's a headache. Jason, you might not be wrong, my brother. You might not be wrong. Jason, I hope I see you in Washington. Jason, I hope I see in Washington, because I'll have a mic and say, Jason, what are your thoughts on advancing the liquidity in the pockets down in Georgetown? Jason, I hope I see you in Washington. Elizabeth Narain, Crystal Rodriguez. Elizabeth says that Irfan is a mess. I had my gut-wrenching laugh for the morning. With the liquidity he will add to your pockets. What the hell? Elizabeth, we see you. We see you. We see you. Liquidity. I like the part where he is self-editing. I mean the man. I mean, we got the capacity. Folks, there's no method here to this madness. It's just pure madness. Those who the gods wish to destroy, the first made man. It's easy to tilt this PPP government, out of up. It's easy. Them boys on the precipice. Right now, they're on the edge and ledge. Let's turn to a couple of things we're tracking, folks, with the remainder of our time. We got a couple of minutes left. Believe it or not, in our program, let's turn to some things we're tracking internationally, and then we're going to circle back. So a couple of things I really want to touch on in the 5-9 So I'm going to hasten through some of what we cover internationally and locally as well. Internationally, the Kremlin has confirmed Kim Jong-un, going by this side. They say, guess who's coming to dinner at the Kremlin? Kim Jong, not Irfan, this is the other Kim Jong. Kim Jong-un. Right? How y'all like our Irfans wake up angry like every day? Doesn't matter, Saturday, we're still angry. You know? Sunday, we still with the vexed. You know, one theory is that weight loss surgery that Irfan did in Dubai, that weight loss surgery is got you hungry all the time. When they staple your stomach, you know, you're seeing food and you want it. I can imagine as president how much food is available to you. You see food and you want it. You're hungry, but the stomach only taking so much. And people who've done it say just be angry all the time. And that's why Sunday, Saturday, holiday, Lent, whatever day it is, even now it's vexed. The hunger. It's the hunger in the system. That's what people told us. We spoke to a couple of experts who were very concerned. You know, he's just angry. An angry man any day of the week, you see. I'm a humble man. Oh my God. I'm Kim Jong-un. Kim Jong-un is going to dinner, folks, a couple lunches too, at the Kremlin. And the Kremlin put it out. So we know now it's official. Some of the stuff we're tracking, folks. Regionally as well, TNT cabinet retreating. Not in the way the PP government retreating and the economy and everything else. No, they're going into a time of planning. It's important to plan, you know. I know, Irfan them don't benefit from the power of the team. You know, Irfan went to cabinet first with this financial mid-year report and sought the views, you know, to come out with a multi-viewed approach. Pull me Irfan now, y'all. Right? Because he would have gotten some better commentary, you know, in them trying to preempt this report. But not probably in TNT. You know, they're preparing for general election. They're going on a war part. They're retreating to plan, you see, to assess, right? Curious. You see, when they're talking about all this reassessing where they are and how good the economy is, that's Jaguar literally. We go in it. We will looking to see if there's absorptive capacity. That's Jaguar. Jaguar will say whether there'll be an increase in minimum wage or not. Right? And then the other thing. This we, like he's a Frenchman. Stop it, Irfan. Please and thank you. But the TNT cabinet, they're going into this period of reflection, how far they've come and how far they have to go as a cabinet, as a government. Yeah, that's how you should do it. You have to need some time to pull back. We were supposed to be doing that during summer. Well, no, but we're still out here with y'all. We got to retweak the goals and so on. We started the year with all the things we said we wanted to do this year. How far have we come? You know, and how far are we still left to go? That's important. You know, some people say you're retreating. Some people say you're advancing in a different direction. Just your point of view. But the TNT cabinet, they're going into retreat. And before I let you guys go, let's talk about a couple of things quickly happening on the home front. The real Nandalals of GT. Got to talk about them. Y'all know it wouldn't be a good day, a good weekend if we didn't have a fire. And we saw one publication said it was a fiery weekend. I think this is the Ghana Times. 4 homes devastated, leaving several homeless. That's the Times headline this morning. Fiery weekend. 4 homes devastated, leaving several homeless. That's just one weekend, folks. Right? If we got the devil in we got to apologize to a lot of other countries. We need not a national day and week and month, a whole year of prayer to drive out the strong man that we got. Fires of the PPP on every front. And of course, you got the other pandemics we're dealing with. Carnage on our roads and waterways. We saw that horrific accident over the weekend at the Hoop, Mahaka. A father and daughter lost their lives. Coming from an award ceremony, we saw one of the newspapers this morning reporting that the car was driving at a fast rate without its headlamps on. That's one of the allegations by one of the survivors of that horrific crash there at the Hook at Mahaika over the weekend. Yeah, that's what the one of the fellows who was involved in this accident is saying this morning, that the car was moving at a very fast rate without its headlights. And this comment is coming from survivor Vikram Ramjawan. Right? He said he's pretty shaken up. The car was coming at a fast rate with with no headlight and ram into us, he said. I just see the driver mash up, and the little girl was on the back, was at the back, and her father died, and the next lady got injured. My seatbelt saved me. That's according to Vikram Ramjawan. Yep, surviving that deadly smash up at the Hoop at Mahaika. You know, they seem to be turning some attention now as well, seeming to be turning some attention as well to what's happening at Plastic City. But before we get there, we really got to take road fatalities in hand. You know, public education has to play a very, very crucial and important role in road usage. In no other country in the world, you know, such a small population, you see so many road accidents. Guyanese, what's happening? Guyanese abroad, oh, call home and tell your family, slow down, slow down. This thing at epidemic, pandemic proportions. Please, please, folks, we got to slow down so we arrive alive. This thing is madness. It's absolute madness. And that was just Mahaika, you know. That was just Mahaika, right? Newsroom reported in the last few hours an accident at Lou Creek on the Linden Highway. We see a car turned over there. Right? Sometime late last evening, Sunday night, an accident. They don't say whether any fatalities resulted from that, but we see a car turned turtle there at Lou Creek on the Linden Suzek Highway. Folks, this is madness. This is madness, and we gotta have a hand on this. Right? We gotta deal with this very frontally. Another headline this morning papers read. Another headline reads, rather, motorcyclist dies in Cornelia Ida accident. What's this? Friends and family, you know, favorites and flatterers. What is this? We got to take this in hand. We have to take this in hand, folks. We got to take it in hand, you know. So those are a couple of things you're watching us this morning. The folks at Plastic City, we reported on this. These are the folks in that area called Jetty. Now, the Minister of Housing says that they will either be regularized or removed. It signals to us that no careful thought has been put to bear on this matter since we spoke about it. Colin Crowell, this morning papers, Plastic City may be regularized or removed. You make up your mind on that yet? 3 years in, Colin. We ain't figuring this out yet. May or may not, we don't know. Very pedestrian. You know, very pedestrian, Colin, on this one here. Very pedestrian. I expect this from Robeson Bend. Wanajil even. But now you, Colin, you got a little more youth in you. Too pedestrian in this. I expect some low energy Robeson. We ain't too sure what we're doing yet. Come on, folks. And I'll even stand up press conference and say, they surpass their program, also called a manifesto. Well, it's mad. We've surpassed what we promised in our program known as a manifesto. We surpassed it. And then what's happening with the Nandalals? The Nandalal seems to be growing in power and fame and fortunes. Growing in power, fame, and fortunes. Apparently, according to Kaitro News, and the Nandalal's law firm was also recently bidding for a $9.6 million government contract. Nando, you see where you got baby milk and stuff, buy? You're in that marketplace out there. You realize how things tight, right? You know, is it to buy, I forgot, buy baby milk and so for newborn now and Pampers. Now is the time is every 5 minutes. Things tight out there. So Kaiser News reported that Nandalal's law firm, I think it's Nandalal and Associates, something like that, were also bidding for a government contract worth $9.6 million. The paper is reporting this morning that Nandalal, when he saw this, he said, I immediately withdrew the bid. He's trying to tell me he involved in the law firm. He really knows what's happening there. He got a law firm. You see, it makes me think twice if I ever want them to represent me. But he really know what happened inside there. They don't really report he on weekly, monthly, or any basis. So his law firm could just go out and bid for government contract. Nobody in the law firm thought that is a conflict of interest. That is what baffles me. Until Bright Boy Nandalal pointed out. Since we are working for this law firm, man. Huh? Who he got working for he at this law firm? You tell me no lawyer at that law firm saw that as a conflict of interest. I find that very baffling. Very baffling. Kaiser News says that they withdrew the contract, withdrew the bid rather, based on its reporting on the matter. But kudos to you. Glenn, never mind Jagdius cuss y'all out every press conference. Gotta do the work of a good journalist. Pursue the truth wherever it leads. That's the hallmark of it, you know. To pursue the truth wherever it leads. Right? That being said, then tell you to bring him back Nandalal brother from Canada for head GPL. Already appointed. Orwin Don. And Gwanzi Griffith, then tell you. Yep. The real Nandalals of GT. Yep. 9.6 million contract bid. Man, he put it back when he heard. His brother will now be CEO. Is now CEO, not will now. Is now CEO of GPL. Them by spreading the wings. Nice time. Nice time. I hope when y'all see I enjoy nice time, y'all don't come around me funny. Right? Enjoy it while it lasts. Yeah. Nandalal Brothers work as part of our reporting over the weekend, according to his Facebook page, for a power company in Canada. You know, people right here qualified can't get big work like that. People could come kill from Canada where they work and live. His Facebook profile says he's living in Canada, but he's heading GPL. According to his Facebook profile, he worked for, I want to see the company. He worked for Sept Energy in Canada as the corporate controller. There at Sept Energy in Canada, this is Kesh Nandalal, Nandalal's brother. Now he's been appointed to head GPL because Bharat Dindiyal, they say, is sick and can't continue in the position, right? Mind you, Bharat Dindiyal is a man who they said had poor management, and their own board recommended that Dindiyal was fired in their tenure. They bring you back 2020, and they won't come around us and lecture us with good governance. Now they bring Nandalal's brother from Canada, right? I think a corporate controller, a finance person. He's not an engineer, you know, in energy, right? But they bring him head GPL. And I'm sure you got qualified Guyanese who giving up the time and the service every day in this country. But you see, friends, family, favorites, that's Kemraj phrase. I want you all to know that. Let me just give the attribution. Kemraj Ramnitan is the first person I heard with that. Friends, family, and favorites. We adopted it. He has added another F It's not the right F, if you ask me. Friends, family, favorites, and flatterers. That is what the PVP is about. Friends, family, favorites, and flatterers. Here we have it. They can deny it. They come with all kinds of excuse why they had to make this appointment. You see? But we know what it is. Friends, family, favorites, and flatterers. Debbie and others saying money happy Mick. Ngwazi Griffith, Debbie Collins, money happy Mick. True words have not been spoken. Folks, we hope your week is off to a fantastic start, a strong start. That's going to do it for us at this end. Thanks for joining our very, very humble broadcast. I'm a humble man. My God, would you shake the hand of a humble man? You're finally the gift that keeps on giving. Kurt Heidecken, Debbie Collins, Wilma, and all the other folks. Folks, remember to partner with us. Remember to partner with us. All right? Remember to partner with us. I think the folks in Georgia are going to give us a little token. I think that's what one of the folks say to us. If you can make it, send something for us. You can. I'm looking forward to seeing y'all in Georgia. I want to see y'all. You better make it. You better make it. If people flying down from DC, to say hello and for us to spend some time together. Oh. Don't be living next door in the back street in the side alley. And you don't make it to Georgia. Looking forward to seeing you good folks down there in Georgia. Tommy Gibbs, Terrence Beaton, Bella Mona, Sheila Boyd Child, Edward Brooms, Fidel Albert. We hope you all week off to a fantastic start. Stay vigilant, but keep moving forward. Fidel and Edward and Sheila Boyd Child, Deborah Pearson. Folks, share the line before you go. Smash that emoji button before you go and partner with us as well. So new month, new expenses. We got to meet folks. But good to have all of you here on the live. And I want to thank you folks. You got a lot of places y'all could be morning, noon, and night, but y'all are always here with us. We're humbled by that. Thanks for your love, your support. Thanks for your generosity. Remember also, we have the capacity to accept your debit and credit cards for your donations. Folks, it's top of the line treatment. We don't accept your information. We don't deal with that. And we don't store any of your information either, even though there's the opportunity to do that. We don't do that with your data, right? So you can feel secure that your information with us is secure. So we have that facility now. We are accepting donations via Zelle and PayPal and MoneyGram, Western Union, all those, the usual avenues. MMG as well. That's the Guyanese Cash App. We also have the facility to accept your donations via debit and credit cards. Just hit us up on WhatsApp. We send you a link. Good to go. Thanks for joining us, folks, across social media, in the 592 and in Region 11 in the diaspora as well. Folks, we're joining you this morning from South Carolina, still reposed here, having a fantastic time. We're heading off to Georgia next Friday into Saturday. So we may not have a Friday night show. We just may not have a Friday night show. Alerting to that very early. And then by the time we finish with Georgia, we're preparing to head to Washington for that conference there that's going to be happening on the 27th and the 28th. Bringing you live and direct, folks. Live and direct. Thanks for joining us for the many places you've tuned in from this morning. Diane and Fidel and Maxine, Sharon, Tommy and Naomi, all the other folks. Naomi says, I'm buying no banana lately. Ah, girl. Yeah. Things tight. Thanks, Naomi and all the others. Have a fantastic day.